Hey, we're ready to go live. It is what is it? it's Friday night, April 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we've got going. And I was just working on getting that new camera in here. And that is what we've got. It looks like it needs a little tuning. There we go. All right, so this is the Panasonic S5 Mark II, but it actually has a native lens on it, which is very different than what we normally have. So I haven't been able to check out what needs to be done. And what are we doing? We're streaming in 4K. Okay, so we're streaming in 4K, and that is what I want. And okay, so the only thing I don't know is if the camera is actually set up properly. But for the first time ever in my life, I actually have a native lens over here on the Panasonic. So I recorded today a little video. I'm looking up over here. I think the camera needs to go higher. There's no way for me to take it up higher. Okay. And I also, let's go back there a second. I think it might need to not be so bright. Does it look a little bit bright to you? It looks like a touch bright. Let me go see what ISO we're running at. I'll take the mic with me so you can hear. So I've been playing with this stuff in the kitchen, and I decided, well, tonight, since it's here, I want to actually go live with it. So let's go over here. So what the problem is that I've had this camera in the past has been set up for sitting down, and I'm not sitting down, I'm standing up. So I'm actually closer to the lights. So it's running at ISO 400. So let's drop it down to 320, okay? 320. Okay, so, all right, now I'm going back, and we can see if that takes that edge off. So it's the wrong camera. So let's come over here, and, okay, so, yeah, to me that looks a little bit better. It was at ISO 400, it's at ISO 320. So it's not like blowing out like it was before. So there we go. There we go. All right, so let's put the mic down. I'm at the Christmas kitchen table, which is basically another way of saying the standing table. So now if I come over here and I bring up the specialty treatment for the camera, I would have to say, let's go over like that. Yeah, that's better. All right, so, hey, it's April 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more days, and it's April 10th, and all your bills are due. So that's what we've got going. So I put the camera back to where it is. Now you see how I have this camera is up a little higher? It looks a little more natural, right? So you see the positioning of the camera, why it's so very important, the camera positioning. Oh, I did connect up that camera, but I didn't turn it on. So let's turn this camera on. Let's see, where is the on and off switch? I have to feel for it. Feel for it. Okay. Okay, so let's see. I don't know if I've, oh yeah, I've got that on now. All right, so, hi boys and girls. It's a rocky start, but trust me, it's actually nice. So now this is the Nikon ZF. This is Randy's camera, the Nikon ZF, and I have the Viltrox. Actually, this is an unreleased lens that you've got going on right now. They sent it to me. They did not send me an NDA, so they didn't say I can't talk about it. So if you've got a Nikon mount, this is a 40 millimeter. What is it? I got the box right here. It just came, speaking about coming to my door, we've had that same thing happen again today. It's a 40 millimeter f2.5 Z mount, and that is what you're looking at on the Nikon ZF. So this is kind of like an advance. You know how they send things out in advance to YouTube content creators, and they tell them, oh, you have to sign this where you can't talk about it. Well, this camera, this lens on the other camera, not this one. This one's everything is copacetic. The lens over there has not been released to the public. So they didn't say I can't talk about it. I actually wrote them an email and asked them, can I talk about it? The person that wrote to me is almost like one of those people that don't know what they're talking about. And they say, I don't see any reason why you can't talk about it. So I'm talking about it. So which camera am I actually talking about? This one right here. So this is the Nikon ZF. And I have a 40 millimeter f2.5 lens on here. If you go at a B&H or you go anywhere, you can't tell, that the lens is actually out in the wild. So it's Randy's camera and it's Viltrox's lens, and they didn't even give me a return authorization. So I'm assuming I'm going to get to keep that lens. Now, I did get a filter. It's sitting over there on the desk because Monday is the eclipse, total eclipse of the heart. Bonnie Tyler, remember that song? Raspy voice, very sexy, raspy voice. All right. So which camera are we doing? All right. I was going to do a video showing that because the sun popped out this afternoon, and I started to get everything ready, and the doorbell rang, and I went to the door. It was UPS, and I had a sign for this big box. And I said, okay, you sure it's for me? Yes. You, Peter Gregg? Yes, I am. They said, okay. And that was fine. So I took the box. I went in the kitchen. I put it on the counter, and I saw it was from Randy. Randy said he was sending me an Easter present. And I'm thinking like, okay, it didn't come for Easter, so maybe he wasn't going to send something. That's perfectly fine. Nobody said anybody has to send any presents, right? So I just went and put the box, and I put the camera to roll, and I opened it up, and lo and behold, it has two spanking brand new lenses for this camera. What camera is this camera? Let me switch over to it right now. That's this guy right here. So that is the Panasonic S5 Mark II. Now, for the Panasonic S5 Mark II, I actually do not own any native lenses. So when I got the camera, I had to buy an adapter that took all the Canon EF lenses and allowed me to mount them on this camera. So today in the mail, you can see the video on the Patreon channel, okay? So the link for that will be in the description or in the more or whatever they're calling it nowadays. Okay, so you can see the video. I unboxed it. And Randy sent me for Easter, he sent me two native lenses for this camera. Right there. A 50 millimeter 1.8, which is what you're looking at right now, and an 85 millimeter 1.8, which is sitting actually right next to it. Okay, let's see, where do I have it? Maybe I can go grab it. Is it there or is it there? I think I put it up on the bin for the the Lumix S5 Mark II. I have a bin for each camera, what lenses go with it, and stuff like that. So I was shocked. So I got that all on recording. You can kind of tell I was a little flustered because, you figure an Easter present, like I would have made some bread or something unique like that. Nope, not Randy. Randy doesn't do that stuff. Randy got me two brand new L mount. So the camera takes what's called an L mount lens. So the S5 Mark II, the S5 Mark II X, and the Leica SL series, the SL3, the SL2, take the L mount lenses. And there's three companies that create L mount lenses. So they created a kind of like a group together that are in this L mount series. So Leica, which is a really big name, right? Leica, okay, that's a big company. So you've got Leica, and then you've got Panasonic Lumix, takes the L mount, and there's a third company for lenses and for cameras, and that's Sigma. And they all work together, not against each other. So just like Micro Four Thirds, if you get a Micro Four Thirds lens, it'll go on any Micro Four Thirds camera. That's the way it's designed. It's the way it's made to work. Okay. So now you've got the same thing going on with Lumix, Leica, and Sigma. So that's why the Sigma adapter works on my L camera. But I don't have any native L mount lenses. So if I had a problem, I wasn't sure if it was the lens or the adapter or the camera. So it was a little bit something hard to decipher. Well, now I am the proud owner of two L mount lenses, a 50 millimeter 1.8 and an 85 millimeter 1.8, and they're native, and they're actually made by Lumix. It's not a Sigma, it's not a Leica, it's a Lumix lens. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? I mean, that is kind of like, wow, a little bit crazy. So I walked away from the mic. Sorry. I'm not wearing the lapel. I'm using this guy right here, okay? My vintage mic, as Sammy calls it, my vintage microphone. So I actually have two lenses now that are native for the Panasonic. Thank you so much, Randy. Thank you for the Easter present. Thank you, other people that send me Easter presents. Sammy sent me a chef's coat, okay, and a chef's hat, because he likes the chef stuff. So if I wear this hat on my head, okay, it's a chef's hat, and I'm not going to put it on now because I just came out of the shower and combed my hair. So I'm not going to make a mess out of my hair. All right, so I'm a little excited. Now, what I had planned for tonight, we'll get into now. We've had 3 people, Sammy being one, and then we've had 2 others that have asked me not to say anything, but it's 2 of our family, and they have been hacked in one way or another, which is not cool. So the only one that I can actually talk about is Sammy. So I actually called a friend of mine, and his name is Jim Monday. He's part of the family. Do you know what his career is? He's a security specialist, okay? He goes and talks to corporations, banks, gas stations, online corporations that have an online presence about security, because they've got stuff where they take over your computers and they want a ransom to release your computers, or they hack into your computers and actually, like what they did with Sammy, they took his entire channel down. So all of Sammy's work for the last 3 or 4 years, or 5, I don't know how old his channel was, it's all gone. So I said, Jim, how does stuff like that happen? So he started explaining it. So if you actually would like to hear Jim tell us a little stuff on what we can do, maybe what we should do, what we should be aware of. Let me make sure I have my phone on. I don't know if Jim actually wants to come in and go live with me. Let me see if I can prepare that. Okay, so let me see if I can prepare that. And interview mode. I'm going to give Jim, I don't even know if Jim is awake. Okay, so I will, here's the link. Copy link. All right, so let me go into my account. Let me see if I can find Jim. I need a keyboard. Now, I'm not promising Jim is coming in, okay? So don't take that. So I'm going to give him 2 ways to actually do it. He can either come on with a camera, all right, or he can give me a call. So let's look up Jim. There's Jim. All right, so let me do a copy and a paste. Control V. All right, and I'll send that to him. Okay, so that should have gone to Jim. So Jim does go to sleep early because he talks to corporations, especially over the weekends. He flies. He just flew out of the country. He flew to Las Vegas and talks at conventions and tells these companies what they can do to keep from getting hacked or ransomwared or something to that effect. Okay, So if you happen to be awake, Jim, okay, you can either call me on the phone, and if you ring, I'll put the phone up to the mic. Or if your cameras are available, I'll just put you right up on the screen, okay? And we can do it that way. We did that for my birthday, remember? So I give you a choice. So the only reason I'm tapping on Jim is he's one of our family, and he's the expert in this field. I'm definitely not the expert in this field, all right? So let's start saying hello to everybody in here. Sammy's in here, and he's saying hi. Hi, Sammy. How you doing, buddy? I did talk to Sammy I talk to Sammy almost every day now. How you doing, big guy? Sammy's one of the guys that got hacked. So he was actually told that somebody's going to try to help him get his account back. Okay, so Jim is joining. So let's see how I can do this without looking like a fool. Okay, so I brought Jim in here. Give me a second, Jim. I'm not as smart as you and everybody else in here, so I'm trying to get this thing going. And let's see if I can get Jim added to my left. No, I can't. Okay, here's the reason why. And the reason, make sure you lower your speaker, Jim, because it's going to feed back. All right, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to freeze this camera. Okay, and when I freeze this camera, I'm actually going to unlock it, because if it's locked, I can't join this scene. So I'm going to put Jim to my left. There he is. All right, that's Jim Monday. So if you guys have never seen Jim Monday, this is Jim Monday. And I say his name wrong. It's Monday, and I keep saying Monday, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but it's Monday, okay? Like Fundy. Fundy me, okay? So how you doing,
He
Jim?
answers to just about anything.
Can you see me?
I can see you. Can you see me?
Yes. Let me see how the volume is going here. Just count to 5 real quick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. It came in at full volume, so I lowered you down so we're kind of equal. So I just spoke to Jim, what, an hour ago or something like that. And I said, Jim, a couple of our members, actually 3, 2 that are I know personally and one that just wrote me, and they have gotten either violated with their, whatchamacallit, their YouTube, or they've gotten violated with their credit card, and the other one got violated with their bank. So 2 of them said, please don't say who I am. So I didn't tell you who they were. So we can't, I am the only one that can make that mistake, okay? And let's just hope I don't, okay? Because they said don't say anything. So what I wanted to talk about is, how did we get 3 people in the last week to 7 or 8 days getting hacked? They don't know each other, just to give you a little background. So they're not connected. They're not interconnected. They're in different states, okay? And each one has gotten hacked in a different way. So unless you're smart and I'm not in the area of internet security, just to be honest with you, all right? But I don't see a connection between these 3 people. But I do see that, hey, my family is getting hacked. So I would like to do something to help these guys. So that's why I tapped on you. I hope you don't mind me doing that, Jim. But just FYI, you look terrific. you look
Appreciate
wonderful.
it. Yeah, this is my. I don't usually. I'm trying the ceremonic out because I had the battery drain issue, which is another whole conversation. But I think I've got that resolved. But yeah, this is my daily. When I'm not on the road, I'm in here and I'm talking exactly like you just said to customers and what we call our partners, which are the folks that that bring their customers into us. So around this very subject.
That's pretty cool. So I was trying to give an idea of what you actually do. So I'll just say what I know. You actually talk in large groups of people and giving a complete, I don't know if you're giving them a class or you're giving them a wet your whistle, but
Sure.
it's like, go ahead.
It's a couple different things, right? I do a lot of just one-on-one. So customers will say, and I work, with companies, with businesses, um, and they will come and say, hey, we need to up our game. Our board of directors said, cybersecurity is a big issue. Uh, Sadly, many times they have had an incident. They've had a ransomware incident, or they've had some other type of a hacking incident. So now they're saying, guess what? The board said I can spend some money and make some investments. What would you do? And then other times it's more just public facing and informational. So you alluded to it where was I? This last week I was in Las Vegas. That was really a learning opportunity for me from one of my suppliers. But the week before that, I was in Pennsylvania at a bank, brought together all their nonprofit organizations, some very large ones, names you would recognize, to just hear about
Can I
artificial
get you to
intelligence.
can I get you just to define one term here?
Yep.
What is ransomware that you brought up? I do know what
Sure.
it is, but maybe there's somebody listening that doesn't know what ransomware is.
Well, and that's a good question, or a good point. So ransomware says somebody does something to your environment, your computer environment, your network, your storage, whatever, and they typically what will happen is they will lock down everything. So you will go to log into your computer, and it will literally say something like, "You have been, hacked," and if you want the ability to get your information back, to unlock what your network has on it, you need to pay us ransom. And so the term has become ransomware. The ransoms are typically paid with cryptocurrency like Bitcoin because of it being relatively untraceable. And the biggest event that probably most of us heard of recently was MGM. When MGM Resorts, they were hit with ransomware and they were shut down for days. And the other biggie that was out there was Colonial Pipeline,
Can I just
which literally
sound can
shut
I
down the gas.
can I just sound a little bit dumber? When you say they're shut down, do they actually go in and shut off their computers? Or what does shut down mean?
Well, they basically, if you went tomorrow morning, you got up and you went to get on and edit a video, and all of a sudden you tried to get into your Mac, and it said, "Sorry, Peter, your computer is locked out. It's encrypted." And if you want it unencrypted, if you want the key to get your information back, you need to pay me, $1,000 in Bitcoin. Um, so that's usually what happens is they encrypt
And that
the
happened to
information that's
MGM.
given.
That happened to MGM.
Yep. MGM
MGM's
literally was
is not.
down for a week. I was out on the road when it happened, and I was able to bring it into one of the trainings. And literally 3 days into it, this is what was amazing to me. 3 days into it, even if you just dialed in to like make a reservation at the MGM hotel, even their phone system wasn't working. The recording said, "We're sorry, we're not able to take your call right now." So imagine that's obviously on a much bigger scale than any of us individually will ever face. But the literally billions of dollars we believe that they lost over that period of time.
Again,
Now they
uh,
chose.
as a dumb question, did they pay the ransomware?
Good. That was where I was going to go. Yeah, they made a decision not to pay, right? And the other thing that I talk about and that we help out companies a lot of times with is making sure that if they do get hit, that they can recover. How do they recover? They make sure they've got all their data backed up. They make sure that they have a plan and that they know, hey, if somebody does this, here's how we would undo what they did. And so MGM felt pretty confident they didn't have to pay the ransom, but they paid a very pretty penny because they were literally down. I mean, we have pictures of you walk in the doors and where the slot machines and all the noise, even the slot machines said unavailable right now. And this went on millions of dollars. And the information, because they didn't pay the ransom, the bad guys said, okay, we're going to release the information that we took out to the dark web, to the bad guys. And so I do go to Las Vegas, and I have a MGM card, not a credit card, but the one you put in the slot machines when I'm down there. And I got a message or an email that came in and said, unfortunately, some of your personal information may have been released as a result of our security incident. They have an obligation under federal regulations to do that. Even if they don't know if it was released, if there's even a possibility, you have to provide that notice. And they're now being sued by multiple individuals, organizations, and state governments because of the incident happening and because of the information release. So it's a big deal. But to the point that you called me about earlier tonight, it's not just the big corporations that are getting hit, unfortunately. It's individuals, and there's a number of reasons why that's happening, a number of reasons why it's more prolific right now, and we can chat about that. But it's, I think the message is, just because we see it for these big ones that make the news, it is happening in plenty of other environments and to individuals, small businesses as well. And that's what I was talking to the folks in Pennsylvania about not just security and ransomware, but also I was talking to them about artificial intelligence, AI, and its impact in the security space.
What does AI have to do with the security of my computer? Anything unique, or is it uh, something that I don't really need to be concerned about as a small guy? Like all of us in here, Randy, Sammy, Bob, Woody. I'm just naming up some names. Okay, me. All right, we're little guys. Do we have to be concerned about stuff like that?
I think everybody has to be concerned, and everybody has to be aware. You asked the question, what does AI have to do with it? And all of the benefits of AI that we as individuals and businesses see, it's also being used by the bad guys, right? So a good example of this is if anybody has used or looked at ChatGPT. Um, thanks, Bob. If anybody has heard of ChatGPT, ChatGPT is a natural language tool, right? I can say to it, tell me 10 reasons why, I should do whatever, right? And it will search the web and it'll provide an answer in pure English language, very readable. And that same technology is being used in what we call the dark web. That's the bad guys, the flip side of all the commerce, all the business we do every day. The flip side of that is that's also going on in the bad side of the house, for the criminal side. And they have something, I don't have my notes in front of me right now, but it's like it's another form. And we put this together too quick for me to get my notes out, but
That's okay. Don't worry. I
essentially
didn't
it's
mean to put you on the spot.
ChatGPT. It's ChatGPT without any of the protections. Right now, if you went to ChatGPT and said, tell me how to rob a bank, ChatGPT would say, oh yeah, the Dish Network, Randy, the Dish Network one was a big one. We were very aware of that one. The ChatGPT will not, to the best of its knowledge, it will try not to give you bad information, criminal type information. So if you said, how can I rob a bank? It would say, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. The flip side is there's a program available to the bad guys that would gladly tell you how to rob a bank, that would gladly tell you how to hack a email account, gladly tell you how to do whatever. And it's pretty scary. We see it. My colleague that I work with is 22-year FBI cyber crimes veteran. He retired from that to come into this job. And so he knows, I know about the good corporate things that we do. He knows about all the bad guy stuff. And we make a great pair when we go on the road. I love working with them. But so I'm rambling, but artificial intelligence is being used, and it's speeding up the ability to hack things. If anybody has ever done any kind of programming, right? you can go into ChatGPT, and I've done this, and say, write me a Python program to whatever. And within seconds, you will get the code for a Python program that you could turn around, put right into a Python workspace, and it'll run. And so think about that. If I was using that with no guardrails, the bad guys, and I said, write me a Python program that would scan bank IP addresses and try to find a hole, and it'll write that Python program for you. So what's happening is the professionals aren't the only ones now. The hackers who have been wannabe hackers are suddenly got their game notched up significantly. That's resulting in a major increase, both in the corporate space and in the personal space where we all live, of folks getting hacked in one way or another. So you've got to be hyper cautious. There are some good practices you can do, but in general, it means just being incredibly cautious and not taking anything for granted. And that's sad that we have to do that, but that's where we are.
So we have like me. I see Norm. I know Sly is out there. Randy, Bob. Uh, where's like the top 2 or 3 places that we're likely to get caught? Like I'm going to the doctor. I can't not pay. I have to give them my credit card.
Right.
Okay. When I go to the gas station, unless I have some cash in my pocket, I got to give them my credit card. So where is the worst places where this stuff is happening for the little guy, which is what our family is about, the little guy. Okay.
Yep.
Uh,
So a couple things. The areas you just mentioned are typically related to credit card, right?
mhm.
So if you are using a physical credit card, I don't have my wallet right here, just remember that in a perfect world, and we know we don't live in a perfect world, you don't want to lose sight of that credit card if you can avoid it. Oh, that did something little. Somebody gave a thumbs up. I'm easily distracted, Peter. The So, for example, um, if you go to the doctor's office, you just use that example. Most of the places, the doctors I use, and as I get older, there's more and more of them. There's a check-in window and a checkout window, and if I hand them my card, they deal with it right there, right? They don't carry it away. I would be concerned if I saw somebody say, "Oh, I'll be right back," and stepped away to take the credit card. um, I'd probably say, "Where are you going with my credit card?" Right? Just that would be how I would react. Is that overreacting? Maybe, but what are they going to do with it? They potentially are going to take it somewhere, capture the numeric information, the card number and information, and even worse, if they're truly criminal, they can scan the magnetic strip and make a duplicate credit card, right? So that's one thing. Another thing, when you're taking credit cards, gas stations is an example. Uh, for quite some time now, there have been credit card skimmers. They're physical boxes that are mounted over the slot for a credit card. And a bad guy will put one in, let's say, at a gas station. And this happened at a gas station that I use. In fact, I found the reader and reported it to the gas station. So they put this reader over the slot where you put your credit card. It looks like it's part of the machine. You put your credit card in, you pump your gas, you leave. That machine has read, as you inserted your card, it read the information, and the pump also got the information. So everything looked normal to you. So there's a guy sitting not too far away, and he'll probably come back by after 20, 50, 100 cars, and he'll pick that box, take it away, and he's got all that information, right? Good point, Randy. So restaurants, most restaurants still take your card, and they go somewhere with it.
Yeah.
95, 99% of them are perfectly legit. Every once in a while, there's somebody who's got a little side gig, and they're getting that information when you're gone. So you just have to be hyper cautious. And if you do have something that does happen, you see some charges on after after you went to what's my favorite? When I go to Vinny's Pizza, I know all the people over at Vinny's, but if something did happen the next day, that would, when I reported it to my bank, I'd say, the last place I used it was at Vinny's Pizza. Does that mean that Vinny has somebody bad going on? Probably not. But the bank will take that information. And most banks, most large banks, most large credit card institutions, I used an example, Peter, when I was talking to you of a friend of mine who used a card at a restaurant, and then a day later, a washing machine showed up on their charge card. So that clearly wasn't them. That was an easy one to spot, and the bank took care of them and got that off of there. But it's sure inconvenient, isn't it? Right? Because now you got to get a new credit card, and you got to wait until it comes in the mail, et cetera, et cetera.
So I just went for a physical last week or 2 weeks maybe now. So it was a teenage girl that was they opened a sliding window and she's sitting in the sliding window. Okay. And she asked for not only my credit card, but my driver's license, and then left. And I don't like going to the doctor, so I didn't say anything, but dang, go over to the Xerox machine, make the copy, put it in your purse, and you got everything you need. Because the doctor's has my social security number too.
Yep.
So
yeah, and I think it's perfectly legitimate, and we don't always think about it, but to just say, hey, where are you going? Because most modern technology now lets them process the card right there. Now, restaurants are a different story, right? Most times, although we're starting to see a lot of the restaurants that are coming around with a box, and they'll bring it to you right up to the table and ask you to put your tip on and sign it. So that's a good thing. Credit cards with tap, and some people are Woody knows Vinny's. The owner's actually name is Giacomo, and he's a friend and a ham radio operator. But I digress. The tap cards, they are typically run off RFID, but they are generally more secure, right? Because if I'd rather tap than swipe, because there's less chance that particular device is stealing my information. So one other area, and then I'll quit yammering. Some other scenarios where you've got this same underworld that operates out there, we'll call it the dark web. There is constantly information with stolen credentials that's published out there, right? And what AI has done is given the bad guys information and the ability to go pull that information and try to compile something. So this is just a theoretical example, but I was an early email adopter of Gmail. So, my email address is very easy to guess, right? Whatever at gmail.com. That's used on who knows how many different online accounts. That information is out there that Jim Mundy uses this email address. Years and years ago, before I started doing this for a living, a lot of my passwords were very similar, right? I might change a digit, I might change a little something, but they were pretty similar. I know,
the
right?
Same way. Shh, don't tell anybody. I do the same thing.
Okay, don't tell anybody. And if let's say one or two of those got stolen. Now, passwords typically are stored encrypted, right? So even if they're stolen, you can't see them. Not always, right? And so if one or two of those have gotten stolen, and I've gotten the report and seen that one or two of those have, now, before, criminals got to say, okay, Jim Mundy, and here's this password, and it looks pretty simple. I'll try a couple things. The poor guy's going to get tired, and he's going to have to randomly pull Jim Mundy out. But when you take things like AI, machine learning, all these tools that are available to the bad guys, now they can do it literally hundreds and thousands of tries at a time. So you mentioned they add several folks that are in the community. It doesn't surprise me, because the attacker's ability is ramped up dramatically very recently. And it's because of AI, it's because of machine learning, it's because of faster processing. It's because I can buy through, Amazon or Microsoft cloud computing that makes my brand new Mac with a G3 processor, M3.
Yeah, M3 is the highest.
Right. Makes it look like a donkey compared to a racehorse, right? And you can go and buy time, and the bad guys can buy time from Amazon just like you and I can, right? So what's the message? Don't be scared. Be cautious. Think about that password thing. If all your passwords are pretty similar, maybe it's time to think about, particularly on financial institutions, to maybe be making some changes. Be aware. The other thing I said I was going to say
About
one more thing. I'll say one more thing.
Email. About
The
email.
other area.
About email. Like Sly's got a grandkid. She's in love with that grandkid. Okay. So her daughter's name is Brett. If Brett sends her an email and says something like, "Here's something you could buy for the grandbaby," okay, and it's got something to click on. Now it's her daughter. She's not going to be thinking my daughter is sending me something bad. Is there something that we can filter in our mind to be able to look for clues that, hey, don't click on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, so I'm just checking the battery on this Saramonic because it's been known to die. Looks like it's still holding its own. Yeah, so just hypervigilance, right? Think about the fact that just like AI is being used for the things I've given you examples for, it's also able to go out, search social media in an instant, find out everything that's out there about Jim Mundy, find out that it's not hard to guess that my mother, who was Irish, and I have pictures and things on my Facebook that would give you a pretty good idea what my mother's maiden name is, right?
Yeah.
How many of us use mother's maiden name as one of the passwords we use, right? But it also finds out that that Woody is a friend of mine, right? Because it's out there in Facebook. You can see that Woody and I are friends on Facebook. Woody takes great pictures in the outdoors. I love seeing your posts, Woody. But so if I got an email that said, "Hey Jim, it's Woody. I've got I wanted you to see this picture. Just click here." First reaction might be, "That's cool. I want to see what Woody's posting." Right? He does really fun stuff. The flip side is, right, I would also have to think, why would he do that? He knows that I'm on Facebook. He knows I like his stuff. Why is he sending me something? So I'm taking a minute. I'm thinking about it, and if it seems out of the norm, I'm going to pause. And if somebody shouldn't be sending me something to click, for Woody to send me a link to click, he might put the picture in the email. That would be out of the ordinary for me. You use Sly as an example. If Sly got an email that said something a little structured, like your grandson would love this. Click here, right? I'm guessing that Sly's daughter
I
wouldn't
don't
say
think
something like
that
that,
would be a
right?
normal That wouldn't be a normal communications from
Yeah,
Brett to
you
her
would
mother.
say, "Ooh, that sounds." And there's
Yeah.
nothing. The thing is, and this is what I've shared. I've shared that some of the folks in my family struggle with some of these things, and have had some issues, right? And have been ransomware, have had some attacks on them. There's very little consequence to slowing down. We are all in such a hurry, and there's so many emails coming in. There's very little consequence to slowing down, particularly if your intuition is saying something doesn't look right.
How about sharing? Let's say you want to show that you're being nice to someone, and you want to show them that you trust them, so you're going to share your password with them. Okay. Is there a problem with that, or is that okay to keep things in the immediate circle of friends and stuff?
Yeah, there's a number of things that I have concern with, right? Um, is there some other way? Could I look over your shoulder? Could I do something? Do I have to have that password, right? How are you sharing that password, right? We have tools that we use that are, for example, I'll give you a good example. There's this online game tool called Kahoot, and we use it in our training classes. Like next week, I'll be in Houston, and you can play a Kahoot game, and it looks like trivia. If you've ever played trivia in a restaurant, I can put up a question, and the audience can test the 4 answers, and it's a game. Our company uses this service. I'm in charge of the Kahoot next week. All I wanted was the password. We went through a whole process of encrypting the information, getting it to me. I wasn't part of the system that let me unencrypt it. It was very inconvenient, but I respected that we did that, even though it was just this Kahoot system. It was information, it was privileged information. So anything like that, passwords, any information, you should think about how you're transmitting it, and you should think about, do you really need to? Do you really need to share that information with somebody? I would just be very cautious.
So I guess if we're going to summarize this, Bob, can you slow down a little bit, buddy? Okay, there's too many things coming up and you're getting me confused. So I don't have the slow mode on. So let's not get Peter confused because then we won't have a good show. All right. So I appreciate if you do that. And my moderators, if anybody is popping in too many times, you could slow them down for me. I appreciate it. Don't ban anybody. We got a very nice family going in here. And actually, Jim, you know, you're part of the family. We're all friends in here. And people
Absolutely.
get excited because we're only on Friday nights. But like I'm seeing so many, messages coming through one person. I can't pay attention to you and then read what Bob is saying. So I just have to be nice and say, can you please slow down to help the 70-year-old guy in here? So that's all I'm doing right now. So I went to the doctor, I went to the gas station, and I did everything wrong. That's what you're telling me.
Now you know. All you can do is change the behavior going forward, or at least think about it, right?
Well, the good thing is you're an expert. You deal with this day in and day out, week after week, year after year. You actually go to the corporations and you teach them what to do to practice safe sex, like we would talk to a teenager. Safe interneting, we would talk to our age.
Safe cyber. Safe
What
cyber
is it?
is what we would call it.
Safe cyber.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
and that's a good example. The event that I was at last week, it was interesting but unsettling. So we had a room full of folks from nonprofit organizations, and I stood at the back of the room for another half hour, mostly with people telling me about things that had happened to them. Right. So when I say I'm not surprised, I'm sad. Right. I wish it weren't where it is, but it is definitely now is the time to think about cyber safety, cyber security, even if you're just one person. And I said to Peter, right, when we were on the phone, how long have I been a member of the family, and keep saying I'm going to get something out there on YouTube? This may be the time, right, for me to start doing just some content around this, right?
I agree. Yes.
I think it's of interest to an audience that's pretty broad. So
I think that's well, you qualify as not only an expert's expert, because this is your job. If it's going to happen or if it's on the cutting edge, you're going to know about it. Where somebody can just come and say, "Hey, I want to talk about security," and you don't know what they're talking about. You don't know if they know what they're talking about. Okay, anybody could talk about anything except what YouTube doesn't want you to talk about. All right.
right.
So
Well,
I think it'd be a great idea so that we could come to your channel once a week, 2 weeks, whatever you decide to do, and get the tip of the week, because there's some stuff I just didn't know what to do, you know? So, like sharing my password because I want to be nice to my friends or something, you've got to say no sometimes because you don't know if your friend is going to get violated, you know? And if they get violated, do they have an access into my computer if my friend gets violated? So let's say I give you my password because we're buddies, okay? And you go, oh, that's nice, Peter, and I think I'm doing something nice. Now, if you get violated, does that give an entrance into my account by any chance, or is it's pretty locked up?
It would depend, right? So if it was just shared with you, and you just used it to log in, probably not. That would be a really unique exception where somebody installed a keyboard recorder, on your device that recorded every keystroke. It's pretty hard for them to do that. It can be done. But if it was, that's why I say about the means of transmission. If it was transmitted via an email, let's say my marketing department did send me that password, and it was for something much more important than a game, right, that we use. And then my computer got ransomwared the next day. Now the bad guys have my data, and in there is my email chain. In that email chain is that kind of information. So you got to think the whole process through multiple levels. Real quick, I'm trying to watch chat. I don't know how you do it, Peter. It just Zoom.
That's why
Someone asked about
Bob was getting me a
using.
little confused because I'm trying to read this, and Bob is just happy to be here, and that's why he slowed down. See, so you could tell who the good guys
Yeah,
are and who the
Scott
bad
said,
guys
do
are.
you recommend using a VPN? Yes. In my
That was
corporate world.
Scotty. Okay, so Scotty put that up, right?
Oh, did I say? Who did I say? Bob? Scott. Yes, Scott said. So yes, in the corporate world, my computer won't even connect to the internet. It first turns on the VPN before it even lets me do anything in the internet, which can be very frustrating when you're at a hotel that doesn't understand what you're trying to do. But in general, yes. Now, if it's your home network and you have good Wi-Fi security, maybe not at home, but the minute you go out the door and get on any public network, absolutely, I recommend using a VPN.
So
And a VPN, I think everybody probably knows, but it basically encrypts everything that leaves your computer and goes over the internet, so that even if Peter's figured out how to listen in and he's sitting at a table at Chili's 2 tables away, it'll be all garbled. He won't be able to see the data.
So I almost got caught about a week ago because I do most of what I do over Amazon. Actually, Jim is one of the people that bless me and gives me an Amazon card as a present because he knows that I'm having a hard time with the credit cards. So when I go on Amazon, I'm buying something, I'm expecting something to come in because I ordered something, right? So now they've got very targeted emails because I got an email that said they were having a hard time with my Amazon delivery. Could I update my address to the proper address? And just out of the corner of my mind, I clicked where you could see who sent the email. Okay. And it wasn't Amazon, it was somebody named Bob Jones in Timbuktu or something. And I'm going like, oh, they almost got me because I just placed an order on Amazon. So I guess what do they call that? Fishing, when you just put out a net and see what you
Yep.
catch, you know?
It's called phishing, and it's the biggest single source of the way in all the major cyber incidents. The MGM incident, the Colonial Pipeline incident, all of those trace back to some guy that clicked the wrong thing, right? And it got by. And then what that does, for an individual, it basically could let them see what's on your computer. For a corporation, it lets me now potentially look like that individual. So imagine it's a help desk in a company. That help desk person, their information has been compromised. Well, they also probably have the ability to get into a lot of systems, and that's when all the bad stuff starts. So it starts with the simplest thing. You mentioned the Amazon thing, looking for who sent it. 100%. That can even be spoofed, but that's still a good caution. And then I think one of the things. Again, I don't like to pick on my family, but a member of my family said they got hacked, and I said, well, what happened? They said, well, Norton sent me an email that said my payment was past due. I said, do you even use Norton? And his answer was no.
Oh my God.
And but it was just, he was upset because he said, well, I don't want them to charge my credit card. So he clicked that link, right? And the bad guy came in. So you just have to, like I said, slow down, because nothing is that important that you can't pause and make sure that link's real. or that
But
email's real.
you just mentioned something about that the who the sender is can actually be faked.
Hmm.
Uh, I actually got an email. It kind of stopped, okay, but I got an email from myself telling me that they have uh, recorded all the porn sites that I've gone to, and they've also a nice story. Okay, we've seen you got to many porn sites. We've activated your camera. We see what you do at night. They made a real good story, and in order for us not to make this public, you need to pay us $1,200 or something like that. Okay, and well, the good thing is, as a Christian guy, I normally don't go to porn sites. I have friends that insist on sending me a picture that they think will get me excited or something, but I don't follow through on that. So I know I haven't visited that. But if I was a regular guy, a teenager or a 20-year-old, and I go to these sites, okay, they're known to try to fish information from people. It's not a thing like don't go to porn sites, bad boy. It's more like that entire industry is known to try to pull things, information out of you to capture your information. Okay.
Yeah.
So besides porn sites, which I think at our age, the people in here are usually older guys. We have a few younger guys, but they're pretty wholesome. What other industries are known? Like I got an email, Jim, from my bank that said they were having some problem with an order that I placed, and it was the fraud division, and it was true. It wasn't a fake, but they wanted me. My bank wanted me to click here. What's up with that? That is absolutely crazy. You should
Yep.
never click
The,
here
the, shame
on
on your
any
bank,
email.
right? Because they should not, they should recognize that. One area that we've seen, and hopefully it continues, but with this ratcheting up in the bad stuff happening, most financial institutions, most credit card companies, the few people that they actually have that will answer the phone are in their fraud department. So in a situation like that, if there is a question, um, I would say if you do have that sort of a question, is this legit? Just make a phone call to the bank, get the fraud department, and find out if it's legit. Um, the
Or
challenge
log
with
in,
that is
or just
they're
log into
going
your
to.
bank account directly. Just go and you initiate the login on your bank account
Yep, yep.
is a
That's
way completely
another
around
good
that
point,
email.
right? So
You know.
if they're saying that we've seen unusual charges on your account, please click here. Much better to log into the account, see if you see anything unusual. And by the way, that's also if you do want to make a phone call. Another person in my family struggled with their Apple computer. And so they Googled Apple support, and a legitimate looking phone number came up. They called that phone number, and it was a bogus number, and it was a bad guy, and got them to just about to the point of giving them a credit card to fix the computer. And thank goodness that person finally heard me enough. They hung up the phone. They called me, and I said, "Yeah, that Apple would never do that, right?" So even Google, and the thing when you think about, and this is what I talk about a lot of times on the road, when you think about how big the bad guys organization is, think about what you would have to do in order to get that high of a ranking on Google, so that when you Googled that, the first thing you saw was a fake number when you're competing against Apple and what they spend probably on Google advertising. So that's a good example of, again, if you're going to pick up the phone call and make a call to your bank, if you feel you do want to call them, log in. If you're not locked out of your account, log into your account, and then in there they'll usually say contact us, and those are your legitimate phone numbers where the real people are.
I have to make a little confession here. I sent Sammy a little gift, uh, and I put in the wrong address. So I tried to cancel the order or change the address, and I wasn't able to. So I did exactly what you told me not to do just now. I said Amazon customer service phone number, and it popped up a number, and I called it. Now, thank God it was legitimate, but I never even thought of that trick. Oh my God. Okay.
I couldn't, I was really surprised, but then she showed me what she did and I could duplicate it. And it really shocked me because, how much do you have to buy in terms of advertising from Google to get them to give you a top ranking? So,
So let's switch gears real quick just to be a little bit nosy. Okay. You're in your new apartment. What
yes.
kind of gear are you? Are you? How are we seeing you? What did you set up over there?
Yeah, this I'm not set up with what I ultimately would use, say in YouTube, but it's this is my. I finally got a big boy desk when I moved, so it's a full size desk, and I'm sitting where I work, right? So this is the exact backdrop that I would be using for my work. But what's back there is my personal Mac, and so that's my workstation for when I am doing photography stuff, I am doing my banking, that's all there. This view is what I would do. And if I were going to be on YouTube, then I would have a camera, out here. So I have my ZV-E10. I actually have the Elgato prompter that I want to get hooked up.
Are we seeing
And
the?
then just
Are we seeing the E10 right now? Is that what you're
No, this
broadcasting?
is just my Mac, my new. I just did get a new MacBook
Looks
Air.
great, Jim. Honestly.
No, it's a good camera. So I say it. I want to get my with the prompter. I want to get that set up and get my ZVE10, the 16 millimeter Sigma going. But for day in day, and I do have. So that's a just the cheapy softbox light with my remote, and I turn that on, and then that's just another little light. So I got my lighting going, and that's what I do all day long. I do have a window over here, so during the day I have natural light. If I'm recording consistently, I'll probably want to get blackout curtains so that my videos will be consistent day or night, but that's the next step. Get some content out there, Jim. Don't try to make it perfect.
You will. You have actually you've come a long way because you showed me the very beginning things you started to do compared to what I. You look like you belong in NBC. I mean, not that I'm pro NBC, but you got a nice red shirt on and a gray sweater. You got that beige background, and you set it up real good. So it's
That's
you
the only
probably
thing.
look.
Don't turn the camera and see all the boxes that are still here from when I
Yeah,
moved
no.
because
Well,
I
you should
I've
see
been
around here.
traveling. I haven't
It's
unpacked
you've been
anything.
here. You've actually been here, so you know what the Christmas room looks like on that side of it
On
compared
that
to
side, yep.
this side.
And
So
Sly, I can't let my sister see it because the cables make her crazy. I've even told her that I know this person Sly who's a cable management
yeah,
goddess,
she's
and so
Sly is the
I'm not
cable
there yet.
police. Sly is the cable police. First thing she said when she walked in here, cable management, cable management. Hi Sly, nice to see you too. Well, Jim, thank
So
you
yeah,
so much. You are having battery issues with that, but you sounded great. There was no problem going on. I'm using the Panasonic S5 Mark II with the new lens that Randy sent me. Isn't that crazy?
nice.
So if it was yesterday, I wouldn't even have this camera on in here. It would be the old Nikon Z6. So I slapped that back in and I put Randy's new lens that he sent here, and it looks terrific. So thanks for the knowledge that you shared. That's absolutely incredible. Okay. And
It's
you guys
unfortunate
that
that we
want to
have to
give
do
Jim
it,
a
but I'm
thumbs
glad to
up,
be able to share what I know.
we all want to say thank you because people are starting to get more worried, especially with the election season coming up. They're trying to play a lot of tricks on you, you
Yeah.
know. Uh, and then, of course, you've got the people that are really playing tricks with every kind of trick they can. So I guess I'm itching to say one thing, and this is not to Jim because Jim said it to me, and I just want to repeat it. If there's something in an email that says click here 9.999 times, don't. Okay? You initiate, and I'm talking to myself as well as everybody else. You initiate what it is. So let's say if I had a daughter named Brett and she said, buy this for the grandkid, I'll pick up the phone and say, Brett, what do you want me to look up? And then I'll look it up, okay? Because somebody might have hacked into Brett's computer, you know, and they're trying to use the relationship between Brett and me in order to get information or steal something from me, honestly, you know. So that's what I've been itching to say. Don't click. The rule is don't ever click anywhere. You know. How about games, Jim? Are games notorious for stealing stuff from you?
I just saw that Sly said that Haas said hi to both of us. So hi, Haas.
Oh, let me put
Um,
that up. She's got Haas. Yep.
what?
Let's
So
say
uh,
let me give me a second to say hi. Hi Haas, how you doing? It's Peter Gregg and I'm saying hello to you, Haas. You be a good boy for Granny, okay? Be a good boy, Haas. I'm watching you. Be a good boy. Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jim.
no worries. So you asked me about games, and I got
Yeah, video games, because Haas is playing video games right now. Okay, that's how she babysits him. Come and play the video game, you know. So, but there's adults that play a lot of video games, and they're always
oh yeah.
giving
I
you a
mean, it's
percentage off.
I'm the the language is the OG. I'm the old guy on my team. So trust me, all day long we get on our group calls and they're talking about what they did this and what they did that. And I actually bought an Xbox trying to keep up with them. I don't even hardly know how to turn it on. It's just the crazy games. I did find an Atari classic game, so I can actually play Pong and Pac-Man. But I digress. If it's a known game, right, a known game company, right, and if you're getting it online, like if you're actually signing on to it, you just the basics, right? Make sure the URL is what you know to be the real one, right? So if it was, Peter's Game Company, and he was pgc.com, just make sure that's what you're expecting. Just again, it's all the same. It's just use the caution, slow down, and if you see a great, an ad comes up, and that's the thing, right? Ads that are in everything we do, right? Every time you go into Google or any web browser and you see ads for things that you're interested in, that's where you really have to be careful, because it's just as easy for me to go and buy marketing information that says, that Jim thinks that Jim does a lot of camera browsing, right? Or if I search for something and I get a link to click, um, and it's struggling. Like news sites, a lot of news sites do a massive amount of advertising online to support them, and a lot of those ad companies are at the minimum they're harvesting as much information about you as they can get. And in a bad case, occasionally a bad advertiser sneaks in, gives NBC their money, and until NBC realizes that it's sinister, they put it up there. So yeah, you just
What
have
do
to
they
be super
really? What
careful. But as far as
information?
games, just be super careful about what you're using. Is it a reputable company? Those sorts of things, just like you would buying any product.
What's the basic information that they're trying to amass on you? I know my name, my address, my phone, maybe my birthday. Uh, you mentioned a little while ago something about a mother's maiden name.
Yeah.
What type of
So I
information
mean,
do
a
they
lot
need
of
to?
anything. It used to be that was always the password, right? What's your mother's maiden name? That they would ask you to give that. They've gotten smarter now, and they're asking all these things. But if you look, they're all social things. What town did you grow up in? Well, I've got on my Facebook, you can see in about 10 minutes, my cousin back in my hometown is constantly posting about events, she's putting my class reunion up there. Now they know what year I graduated, right? So social media is it's a wonderful thing for what it's intended to do. The problem is that the data is massive, and today versus Facebook 5 years ago, or whatever social media, it's so much easier to harvest. So to your point, Peter, anything that's personal, that lets me make someone think I'm you, right? And just here, just you and I've met once, but I know things about the things that you have interest in, right?
Yeah.
Cooking and cameras, so that's something that if I then sent a message to somebody and said that I was Peter Gregg and you should check out this camera, click this link, you know, just take a pause.
Boy, we've sucked your brain dry tonight, haven't we?
I'm up
Thank
later
you.
than I hardly ever am.
Yeah, you usually zonked out by now, really.
I usually get halfway through the show and wake up in the chair about 2 hours later. Yep.
To a black screen. There you Peter's is finished for the night. Jim, thank you so much, because you and I know it, but they don't know it. I think I called you 20 minutes before we went live, and I said, "Can we do something to protect our people, our family?" And Jim said, "I would love to." So,
All
thank
I
you so
got's
much.
knowledge in my brain, and I'm glad to share it.
Yeah, you're an amazing guy. People don't know. I got a feeling most of the people in here are just amazing people. Like Woody. Woody is
Yep.
a wonderful guy. He takes care of his grandkids and all that stuff. Woody's actually saying that he uses something other than Google now.
Yep,
You got
I
anything to
saw
say
that,
about
and
that?
that's a good choice. DuckDuckGo is another browser. It will make some sites struggle to work properly, but what it does is it strips out the ads.
Well, I think anybody that had a question would have already asked it. You guys say thank you to Jim for being here, and I'm thanking you hugely, Jim, for on a 20-minute notice. That's pretty cool. I got to say that. All right, that is really
Glad to do it.
impressive, and to look that good too. Golly, you look like
Well, I
you're
actually
ready to.
didn't. I thought I was going to try to get a haircut because I'm going to be in Houston, and so I didn't put any gel in my hair today because I was going to go get a haircut, and she was booked, and so now I'm going to go to Houston with
So
no
if you
haircut.
go to Houston, you're basically doing what we just did tonight. Maybe deeper
Yes.
than what we went, but
That's what I was
Uh,
saying. That like the quiz that I was saying that I needed that tool to write the quiz. It's all questions similar to what we've been through.
amen. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Again, thank you a million times.
Very glad
Uh,
to do it. Thank you.
what a
Thank you for
trooper.
all you do. Uh, we love you and we appreciate you.
Thanks, Jim. I don't know how to get rid of you now. You're gonna be stuck there for the rest of the night.
I will take care of that for you. I'll just press
Thank
hang
you.
up. I like that they actually call it something I understand. Click here to hang up. I say I'm going to hang up on video calls. Everybody laughs at me. They're like, "No, you're going to press end." No, I'm going to hang up.
All right. Good night. Ah, there. He fixed it. So we got some information. Maybe if you learned one little thing, that was worth it, right? We say that kind of stuff in church. You know, if only one person gets saved by hearing the gospel of Jesus, that was worth me traveling halfway around the world. Well, I don't travel, but you get what I mean? So Jim was a trooper. I tried to pick on people that I knew wouldn't mind, like Sly. Okay, so she gets emails between her and her daughter, and Haas is there now, and we say these names, and they get to know who we are, and so don't allow anybody to get tricked. That's basically the bottom line. So that is the cool part. So I'll give you a little update on what happened with Sammy. Sammy has got this YouTube account, maybe 3 or 4 years. Sammy, are you still there? Do you want to come up and tell your story, or is it too late for you? Because I know Sammy goes to bed at 10, so it might be too late for him. So I could tell you his. So Sammy lost his entire YouTube account, gone. It is closed down. So if you go and you look and do a search for Sammy Superstar, it's not there. It's serious. 4 years of that young man's work, somebody got in and deleted it. It came back for a few minutes, but there was information we didn't know. And this is important information. So if you go to your YouTube account and you go into YouTube Studio, you know where YouTube Studio is? Where not where you go looking around to find the recipe for chocolate covered watermelon or something like that, but you do all your back work. All right, over on the left of the screen. So where's the left of the screen? Okay, so it would be over here. Okay, so on this side of the screen, in something called YouTube Studio, because I know most of you have YouTube. Okay, so down here near the bottom, there's something called settings. Click on that word settings. And after you click on that word settings, a window is going to pop up. Poof. Okay. and then look for the word that says permissions. All right, and click in there. You should be the only one with permission into your account as an owner, because the owner. Okay, send me the link. I can't type because I'm not a mod. All right, well, let me see if I can take care of that right now. Let's make you a mod. Okay, let me just do a little bit of business here, guys. So I need to come in here. I need to be able to see what I'm doing. That would be nice. Let me find Sammy, and I think at that point I will. It says remove as standard moderator. It says that you are a moderator. So what's that about? Okay, so let's go over here. Oh, all right. I clicked in the wrong spot. All right, so add as moderator. All right, so I'm adding him as a standard moderator. I really can't read the rest of it. I can't read from here to there. All right, so I'm a moderator for Sammy, and Sammy is a moderator for me. All right, so that is as it should be. All right, so let me go over here and see if I can find a comment from Sammy. There he is. And let's do a control V. And all right, so I sent him a way to log in. So instead of me telling you what happened with Sammy, this could happen with any of you guys. Okay, that's why it's kind of important to understand what happened. You might not even be interested in Sammy at all. Okay, and I'm not telling you to be interested, but you need to know how these bad guys work, because it's how these bad guys work against Sammy. They're going to work the same way against you. Okay, so that is something that was yes. Randy is saying, remember Sammy? Yeah, so he wasn't a moderator, so I think I just fixed him as a moderator, so I think he should have a wrench over there now. So Sammy's going to get his stuff going, and when he comes in, I'm going to ask him to tell you what happened. All right, so Sammy is coming in now, and if I know how to work this stuff, I will have him. I'm going to add him to my right. You got your hair combed, Sammy? You looking all sexy over there, young man? Okay, so let's put there.
Hello,
there
everybody.
There's our handsome, beautiful young man.
Just had some ice cream.
Oh, that's cool. Why are you telling me that? You know chip. I can't eat ice cream, so why are you telling me you had ice cream?
I always have ice cream when watching you.
Oh, great. All right, so you lost your account, right, Sam?
Yeah, so last week I got this very strange email. Someone wanted to do SEO on my channel, and I thought that was very strange because most people do it by themselves and they have success, and I have done it and it has worked. And this guy was, I think, from India. So an India hacker actually stole my cookies or something. I don't even know what happened, and just sucked my whole YouTube channel. And the link was to my my YouTube channel. So somehow they phished it. So it's a no-no. So that's what happened.
Okay, now, because I'm aware of what was going on, you got back in for about 20, 30 minutes?
10 minutes to
10
the
minutes.
YouTube channel.
To the YouTube channel.
And then it wiped.
What happened then?
The brand channel just went, gone.
Okay, do you know how they did that? Yes, you do.
Because
they added their name as an owner.
Yeah.
Explain a little bit of that.
So you can add your name as an owner. So they went into the account and added
A bad guy.
A bad guy. And there was actually someone that I know personally that figured it out, actually, that I had given them access, and they know people in the industry, and then they messaged me and they were trying to get back into the channel to see if if they could fix it, but nothing worked. So it's very
So
sad.
so now when I want to be friendly towards somebody like you or Sly, and I say, well, let me give you my password to get into my YouTube, that's a no-no, right? We don't do that.
No.
There are some things you got to keep private. It's just part of life. So even if you hurt somebody's feelings, you got to say no to sometimes,
And
because
I would
how
say
many how many years old was your account, Sammy?
4 years old, about to be 4 years old,
And how many videos would you say you had on there?
over 500.
Do you know how many videos Randy has?
No.
He's got over 1,700 videos.
But he
So,
posts more than me.
well, he posts more than all of us combined, okay? But the point is, if somebody successfully hacked into Randy, they could take all those videos and they'd be gone,
Yeah.
okay? And he can't get it back. First of all, I want to say I'm very sorry for what happened, okay? And Sammy and I do not share passwords, so it wasn't my fault that Sammy got hacked. If anybody's thinking it was Peter's fault, it wasn't my fault, okay?
Now, there's one fault that he did. He gets songs stuck into your head. That's the only thing.
Sammy knows old songs like a 60-year-old man. I'll go like, do you remember The Who with Pinball Wizard? Oh, yeah, let me show it to you. And within 10 seconds,
And
Sammy
then I
can
said,
bring that right up. I mean, I have never seen somebody handle music as well as Sammy. He's just a walking musical encyclopedia. Okay? I call him a beautiful boy not because I'm being nasty. He really is an amazing guy. And you want to know something? He's my friend. Okay? So, and I love him dearly. So,
thank
how do you find where the permissions are? Do you want to tell the people or you want me to tell them?
you can go to, I'm trying to do this from memory. You can go to the settings, and then there's another tab that says permissions, and then you can see who's actually viewing your channel.
So
And I would recommend, yeah,
if you go
and
to
I,
permissions,
yes.
you will see a name, and then you will see if they're a moderator. If they're a moderator, it's okay. They're not dangerous. Okay? But if they're listed as an owner and it's not you, they can do what they did to Sammy. So what these guys did is they hacked into Sammy's account. And because they knew what they were doing, they immediately set themselves up as an owner so that when Sammy got his account restored, boom, they went back in and locked him out immediately. So I don't know if I'm making that clear. Maybe Sammy needs to tell you. Maybe he could do a better job than me. Nobody needs to be in your owner other than you. Unless you paid for a company. You know how these companies, you sign up with them. That's a different story, okay? But I don't think any of us are like that. So you think I got that message out there, Sammy, that people need to
Yeah.
not have people in their permissions? So in your case, you got best friends out there. You've got Joey, who's a friend of mine. You've got Alex, who's a friend of mine. You've got me. I'm a friend to myself, okay? None of us should be listed as owners in Sammy's account.
Maybe
Nobody.
if you really trust them and they want to help, maybe like what, like a manager or something.
Right. So if you hired a manager and you're paying them on a weekly thing,
Yeah.
but even a manager can turn on you. They can get mad because they think they deserve a raise, and you said no, I can't give you a raise right now. So they go in there and wipe out your whole account. So
No,
I think
actually, you can't.
they have different levels, right?
Yeah.
The owner is the highest level, and then you can have somebody that can post and unpost, but they're not an owner, so they can't wipe
Yeah.
out your account. So I don't think most of the people in here actually are at that level. We're getting a little bit too deep at this point. But Sammy, what is you started a new account? Do you want to give that out now, or you want to try to restore your account?
We're trying to restore the account, but I want to get the word out because I think I'm just going to still keep this account as a backup if anything happens again.
All right, so I put you as a moderator now.
So
So put the
it's
link in
still
there.
Sammy Superstar, but it's at Cinematic Sammy.
What does Cinematic Sammy mean?
I'm a cinematographer with all my short films.
No. I mean, what do you put, like at Cinematic Sammy to
Yeah,
find the correct channel? Okay.
I just posted it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so Scotty, real quick, it doesn't have dual native ISO. Okay.
That's more of the FX30 and the FX3 and the
E.
E1.
Right.
Also,
Those have.
I wanted to tell everyone I'm working on another short film.
Sammy, you just knocked your video, your audio out. You hit something. So check it out.
Is that better?
Yep, that's better.
Okay.
Okay.
Better now?
All right. Yep, you're perfect. You're one of our shining stars, Sammy. You're an amazing, very clean cut. Where did you go on Easter, Sammy? Where did you go? You went with your family somewhere. Where did you go?
Church.
That's right. So you're looking at a 19-year-old young man starting out in life, and he went to church. And that gives us hope for us older guys that the younger guys are still going to hold on to the values that are the solid values that make the United States, so strong. So Jim was saying, I'm sorry, Sammy, that this happened to you. But I think a lot of us feel like that. And then Sammy, this is the link to his new channel. Okay. And when I finish with this, I'll put a link in the description below. So if you're watching the rewind and you can't see the chat on the side, okay, Sammy actually has the new channel, and I'll paste that link in the description below. So, Sammy, did you get something in the mail today?
Yes, I got a new lens.
You did? What happened?
Randomly, I got a 25mm lens from TT Artisans.
Wow. Have you used it yet?
Not yet, because I was taking my nap.
Oh, that's another thing he does. He takes his naps. Okay. How many of you guys take your naps at the right time?
I took a very long nap tonight.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is our show, guys. Tonight, me and Sammy are going to send you out. And God willing, and the bridge isn't up, we'll be here Friday night live. And Sunday night,
no cooking today.
No cooking today, Sammy. No cooking.
Even though you got your knives and
Sammy wants me to cook. He wants me to get my bowl and cook. There's something about Sammy that he just likes.
At least show them the hat. At least show them the hat.
I'm going to put up, I have a new camera. It's the E10. And this is how I cook. And I can actually show you what's in my pot. Okay. So that is what we've got going on. And there is my buddy Sammy. So Jim says, you take a nap and still have great hair? Well, at 19 years old, he's got great everything. Wait till he's 40, 50 years old. He's not going to have great everything. Okay. It's just part of life. So look at me. I'm 70 years old. I have to come right out of the shower to have great hair. So that's just the way it is. So Sunday night, what time am I going on live on the big channel, Sammy? Do you know?
It's usually 8 p.m.
Right. So 8 o'clock Sunday night, Boy, this 50mm lens looks so freaking sharp. I feel like I'm going to jump out of the screen. Thanks again, Randy. That you just did amazing.
That's what I have right in my hands.
Which one is that?
The 85.
Whoa, look at the glass on that. That looks like a diamond ring. That is gorgeous. Is that a Sony brand?
Yes.
That's excellent.
You were the one that told me to get this one.
You mean you do what I tell you, Sammy? You do what I tell you?
All I do is listen to you, Peter.
I know.
All
right. Well, we
do.
all love you, Sammy. So I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Sammy, let's wave our way out. Let's get in here. See you Sunday night on the big main channel at 8 o'clock. And next Friday, God willing, and the bridge isn't up. See you guys then. Bye-bye. Love everybody.
Bye-bye.